Alrighty. Doc here from North America. News comes out in a few minutes, PPI. So that'll be very interesting to see how that rolls compared to yesterday. I understand that, was it Mr. Biden came out on and made a declaration that we have no inflation now. Zero inflation. What a strange character he is. And, unfortunately, nobody pays attention to him. So, the news media doesn't pay attention to him at all, so no one's challenging it. But in the financial markets, we're saying, what do you mean there's no inflation? Where'd it go? But that's the way it goes with him. Jobs. 87,000 must be willing to use deadly force. Headline there. All right. So you can see here the dollar index is kind of moving down, and I think it's kind of... Look at it here on... Where's it at? Let's put it back on Chicago Quant. That's natural gas. But looking at... there it is right there. The dollar index... Where's it at? I had it up there. There it is. And look at that. 2 days in a row in a sell. And we are this time playing with a weekly sell. And I guess that's trying to tell us that the nervousness and the frustration of uncertainty is starting to disappear. I don't know if there's I saw some strange good headlines about Russia and Ukraine yesterday, making you believe that things could quiet down there a little bit. That would be nice. There has been shipments of wheat and corn and so forth, I guess, out of Ukraine to Turkey and other places like that. So maybe we're starting to see some real positiveness there. Something less, less noise. You know what I mean? Would be nice, and that would mean that they would stop buying dollars for flight to safety, and that's really what it's been all about all along. Flight to safety there. So we'll just keep on watching and interpreting the news and watching our math. Basically give us a good heads up of where things are going. Now, let's see, right there you can see the dollar index on J4X, and that's pretty big. We're pushing down on it hard, and Chicago Quant, where's it at? Right there. Chicago Quant doing the same thing, so definitely, let's see what the weekly does on J4X. There it is. I'm not saying 3 weeks it's been in a sell. And you can see it's been in a downwardly drift. It has. It's been in a downwardly drift. We went into a sell about 3 weeks ago, went into a buy for a couple of days for the little pop, and then back into the sell again, 2 days ago, and or yesterday actually. And so you can see overall the trend has been pressuring itself down now for after that first little sell-off there. And then another one, it was kind of lackadaisical in some ways, but it was a nice ride all the way down for those that use the binaries and the derivatives. Oh, here you go. July PPI year over year, 9.8 versus 10.4 estimated. So, that's coming down also. Yeah, producer prices are weaker. And year over the year, the core number... 7.6% coming in as expected, but since Mr. Biden's been emptying the the Federal Reserve of oil, the oil reserve, it's been bringing down prices down to around the price of right before the invasion of Ukraine. So if it calms down around there now, that's pretty good. Oil is up 100% since Mr. Biden became president. So, obviously, whatever he's doing, he's got to stop doing it. That would be nice. All right, from there, check out Euro. Euro's looking awful good. Awful good. Look at that. Look at the Euro. Lifting up again. Oop, didn't mean to move that. There we are. Yeah, it's coming up, trying to challenge the center of this new range it seems to have developed. You can see it's been in a daily buy now for 5 days. This is the 5th day. And the weekly is really moving up fast and strong. That could be a real good sign for some real buying going on in there. And let's check it out over on... let's leave the weekly up there for a second on the euro, right there. The euro has been pressing into the weekly buy for a week. This is the second week of it. You can see the line has been there for a while. It flipped, the line flipped right there, I guess it is. And then now we're starting to get green hinkies for the last 2 weeks, so pressure's there. And you can see this action here. Really strong on Chicago Quants Weekly. There we are. And there's daily. Daily's doing the same thing. It's been holding up pretty strong for 3 solid days. Try to jump in there, I guess, off of this one. Got a little warning here to stand still, and then it just jumped in there again, showing more strength. So we're seeing the lack of, I guess the what do you call it? The lack of running to the dollar. I think that's what it comes down to. In other words, a flight to safety. I think we're seeing the less flight to safety, which is really, really important in many ways as far as I'm concerned. That allows. I know this sounds funny. It allows. Okay, cool. It allows for us to have a little less, a little bit more accuracy of the fundamentals when you see that. That's very positive there. Let's see, what's he want? Switch to LCQ. To LCQ, too. Let's see. Let me just double check that. Let's cancel that. There we go. I'm seeing a message from Robin there. All right. Let's see. What else can we say about that? To or from? I guess that's what we should really respond to. To. There we are. All right, so the euro's looking pretty fine. Let's jump over to the cable. Cable's doing the same thing as the euro. We're seeing it across the board in many ways. You can see a second day in a buy. You can see it's through the weekly also, and even going up to the time manifold, which is very positive. Let's see what it looks like on. I mean, we've been in a weekly sell in cable for 14, 15 weeks. Let's see how it looks over here. So you can see there, that's lifting up for 2 days on the daily. Now let's take a look at the weekly there. Yeah. So it's been in its buy for 3 weeks now. So when we went into the buy, let's see, right there, that'd be 1 week, 2 week, 3 week. When we went into the buy here, that at the end of that week, it went into a weekly buy on J4X and stayed in the buy. And you can see our daily had no problem being in the buy. We just had problems with the weekly. And then it back and filled here, and now it's all joining in. So this is the safer of the trades, unless you're trading binaries and things like that. When you trade binaries and options, you can do a little bit more aggressive trading. But without that, you really don't want to, because you're talking about the hard delta. In other words, you're just long the product or short it, and you can get margined out. And the next thing you know, it's going back into the direction you wanted, but you got margined out. So that's usually the problem with that. And that's why we always emphasize around here that you want to be in the weekly buy and daily buy if you're going to be naked long or naked short a product. And that's how we refer to it. If anybody wants to know what that means exactly, naked long, naked short, we can get a little bit more in depth with that. But that's what it really comes down to. Unless both of them are moving in the same direction, you don't want to be naked long if it's in the buy side. And if it's on the short side or sell side, you don't want to be naked short unless it's both of them are in the sell side. All right. Now from there, let's see. Let's grab a hold of that mouse, and you can see there. Back to the daily. Now let's check out. I guess we'll go after the euro against the Turkish lira, and we'll look at the dollar against the Turkish lira. Let's see what they're doing today. We'll go to dollar first. There it is right there. They've been pretty close, trading in that 1795 area. And, it's holding, almost playing with the 18 over and over and over again. It doesn't seem to want to walk away from that. It's really locked itself around that area. As you can see here, it's right where the dotted line dots are that we've been watching, thinking that's the top. That was the last top when it went wild back in December of last year. So you see that right there. That's why we have those dots there. And you can see we've been in a weekly buy in this product for the dollar Turkish lira pairs trade since early February. So this thing has stayed in that weekly buy, and we've seen that happen before with the Turkish lira and the dollar. It can get in trends, and it does not give up. It just keeps on going. It keeps on. The beat goes on, and it just refuses to stop. And then, let's see where we're at here. Let's check out Euro Turkish Lira, which is so much more trading like a currency versus the dollar Turkish Lira, which trades like a stock indice. Let's see where they've put that this morning. Right there. You can see another new high. They took out yesterday's high of 1858, and today's high is 1859. Just one pip up, but that means something, And we're in that weekly buy for 4 weeks, and when you go and look at what happened back in February, the high was 20.73. So 20.73, and we're stuck in the 18s, and so it's not appreciating as aggressively as the dollar is. So they're having some real problems there with the dollar and the Turkish lira because it's at all-time highs again. Okay, there's someone mentioning it again, where the president said we have zero inflation. And they keep on playing this, him speaking, saying we had zero inflation last month. All right, from the Turkish lira, we'll jump over to let's just put it up on J4X real quick on the daily too. You see that strength in there too. Now we'll jump over to the Canadian. Let's see what the Canadian is up to. There it is, dollar CAD. And you can see it's moving down nicely. And we do see oil moving up. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Last I saw it was around 91.5 on crude oil here in the States. So, like I said, I think we're going to bounce around that 90 area, a little underneath it, a little above it. But overall, the 90 is probably the relative floor, 88, 87 change, or 88, 89. And hanging around the 90 area, basically. And now it's doing the other side of it. It's now 91.5. There's going to be a point where the president can't keep on selling off our reserves. So he's taking supply from the military, and he keeps on driving prices down, which is fine, in some aspect. But it would be better if we just started taking it out of the ground instead of taken out of our reserves. From there, we go over to the U.S. CAD on Chicago Quant. Right there. You see that same thing, a little unchanged today. In a sell for a couple days. And again, we've fallen into the weekly sell compared to last week. We found a way to climb into the weekly buy. And I guess that's because we were in a daily buy, and it really gave it a good pop. And so then what we do is we look at the oil contract itself, as I was saying. And there it is right there. You see we're towards the high of the day. That's at the high today was 93.33, and it's trading right now at 93.11. So it's playing with that 90 range, and that's really what it comes down to. I know it sounds kind of... Oh, here we go. Hey, Robin. Who wants to be a successful trader? That sounds like a TV show. That's really... that's cool. Yeah, I hear you. Matter of fact, I think there's like websites like Real Trader and talking to real traders. I've seen that too. I think that's fun. I think that's what people do here. They come here and see real concepts of trading and understanding of markets through technical analysis and quantitative analysis and so forth. Just as Robin is saying, who wants to be a successful trader? And this is the place to be. If you want to learn about trading, this is the place to be. Oh, Robin, I was looking at that. Do you mean get rid of? Let me just double check. But on the live cattle August, let's see, what's he doing now? Live cattle August now for him is, you mean get rid of August cattle, because he's in the August cattle. He already has the August cattle. And I've been sending over October cattle to him. So, in other words, he wants to go to October cattle now? Is that what it is? Never mind? Okay. All right, no problem there. See that, traders? We do a lot of different things. We look at the cattle. We look at corn and wheat and soybeans. You can see here, just a quick jump over. Check out soybeans on J4X. There it is right there. There's soybeans. And that thing's been moving up. That's kind of interesting right there alone. We're moving back up to the $15 area. Whereas the old crop of last year was being sold, the new crop that's November of this year is been discounted by about $1.50 to $2, and it's slowly drifting up. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets up into the 16s and 17s. Let me just double check, but I think we are. Let me just see. I think we're in a week. Oh, I know. I can do this. I don't have to open anything up. I can go like this. There it is. Where's it at? Where'd it go? I'm confused. Why is that doing that? Oh. Let's try it again. Windows Photo View can't display this picture because there might not be enough memory. Ah, okay. Interesting. Alright. Yeah, I see I'm getting a memory thing there. I'm not sure what that's all about. But in the end result is that the... let me do this. Let me close this one like that. We could always come back to that. I just want to show you this. There it is. Now look at that. It's just on the edge. It's been in a weekly sell. You can see that since the 15.5 area, something like that. 15, right around there. 15, it fell down to 13. And you can see, now here's this is why I think in some ways they're moving away from the dollar at the moment, because it seems like the crops have gotten cheaper, and so you're seeing all these currency pairs start to show some life in them at the same time. And on the soybeans, you can see there, they're trying to lift back up. They're still in a weekly sell. I guess until we get into a weekly buy, we're not going to take it too serious, but I do think that that's telling us flight to safety to the dollar is backing off now. It has that look to it. It just has that look to it. All right. Now, let's see. Let's go back to the Canadian. And as you see there, the Canadian, doing what it should do. It's gaining against the dollar because the oil market is gaining also at the same time. Now, from there, what we do is we look at the South African Rand. So let's go over and check out the South African Rand. Nope, not there. There. And let's see where dollar Rand. I just saw it. Did I? No. There it is. And with the rand gaining against the dollar the last couple of days here, and you can see it's been in a sell from here, and we're flirting with the weekly sell at the same time with no problem whatsoever. It's trying to tell us that gold wants to go up, and that's something that everybody around here likes to, watch. A lot of people, are interested in the metals complex and how they've been abused by the central banks, and so you're seeing, I'd imagine when we go and look at the gold this morning, and there it is right there. You can see it's still firm. It's just a little unchanged from yesterday. Let's check it out over on J4X. Right there. Basically same thing. Lots of strength. It's been climbing up. This has been hesitant at the moment. You can see our lines are hesitant. But, when it comes to, I think it's like 14 or 15 days now in a buy. So it's really showing some interesting life at this point in time. Definitely showing some positive action. Silver dancing back and forth. We'll go through that when we finish up the currencies. Well, unless someone now would like to see something in the silvers market, we can show it to you. But it just has that feel like the metals complex is trying to put in a bottom. It's trying really hard. And I really think it's going to. Again, I really think that so many things are so screwy in Washington, D.C. at this point that they're going to be able to take control of this Federal Reserve and stop them from abusing all this money spending. And that should lift the gold and the silver. I know some people say, wait a minute, doesn't that mean like interest rates may go up? And it may not mean interest rates go up much, but what they'll do is, with inflation where it's at, people will be able to gravitate towards, that's probably one of the greatest calamities that we've ever seen in our history of finance. And that is that, that we went into 40 and 50-year highs of inflation, and we lost like $150 in gold. We lost like $8 in silver. I mean, that's amazing to see. It's one thing for them to go sideways, but for them to actually just literally get crushed, that's classic central bank trying to enforce the transitory philosophy, because they know. I would say that the Federal Reserve knows and won't say it, but the reason why we have inflation is because of bad policy. And it's not anything but that. And so they know that when responsible people get back in power in the government over the next 3 months, they know that they're going to clean that mess up. And that's why the Fed is not really pushing that hard on raising interest rates, and why they're sitting on the metals prices. Because they have to satisfy the government in power right now to keep on floating free money out there, or printing more money and creating greater liability here in the States. And at the same time, you can see we got it going into a weekly buy too. Not only a big long run in the daily buy from the 1740s to now the high was 2 days ago at 1819. So that's a pretty good move. Now, from there, let's get back to the currencies. That's the South African Rand confirming it, as you see right there, confirming that there is some strength, and maybe they'll go after this low, and maybe even this low here. Now let's slide over. Oh, and we didn't show you what they're doing with the J4X on that. There it is right there. Showing that same thing there, and let's see what the weekly looks like. Yeah, 3 weeks in the sell. All right. From there, we'll move over to the yen. And there it is there on J4X. Yeah, they're talking about unemployment and, the inflation. And they're saying, it's the worst since the 1970s. Mr. Biden is always confused when he speaks, so he probably meant that the inflation numbers on Wednesday were unchanged, not that they were zero. He's not the sharpest bulb in the pack, Okay, from there you see the yen. We were in a weekly sell since up in here. It's really pressuring it. It's trying to take out this low again. And now that we're in a daily sell, let's see, let's put these in here. So we were in a daily sell from here. And then we went into a daily buy right... Where did we go in the daily buy? Like right there? Right there. Which lasted a couple days. There we are. And then we're back in the daily sell yesterday from there. Quiet day today, Robin, you know. I think it's because Giannis is out. He's out in the field. He's not on vacation. He's doing other stuff. And so, because of that, he wasn't able to promote the show. When he promotes it, we get really lot more people in it. I'm sure that Metho and Storm and Jordan and on they'll reappear sooner or later somewhere along the line. And let's see, Storm will probably roll in a little later. Now let's check out. Let's see. From the yen, we go to. We go to the. What do we do with the yen? From the yen, we go to. I'm trying to think. We went Canadian. Oh, you know what we didn't do? I want to look at Swiss because I bet the Swiss is rocking. I bet that thing is really rocking. And then from there, we will go over to the Mexican peso. But look at that. It's coming. We've talked about that. I think it wants to come back down to the normal range again. And that's the inflation range that seemed to pop it up. There was like this inflation range that it developed and expanded everything. They all exploded up. And now once we get back out of that, don't worry about the inflation, I think they fall back to the old range again. There we are. And let's just see it on J4X too. There it is. And you can see that movement down. So the action's really, we're seeing that lack of flight to safety, which is really cool. That makes me happy. Anything that will bring the dollar down makes me happy. I think it's just way too strong. And then from there, let's see, what do? We go from there to, let's see where it's at. Let's go to the Mexican peso. Where are you, Mexican peso? There it is. Same thing, it's coming back down to the bottom end of its range. We've talked about this before to nausea, I guess, to some extent. And that is how the two North American currencies, the Mexican peso and the Canadian dollar, have basically not taken the inflation as serious or the invasion as serious. I think that's what's got my curiosity. Why the North American currencies of Canadian dollar against the American dollar and Mexican peso against the American dollar, why they have stayed in their ranges so much better. I think it's location, really. I think that the safety, I think it's a combination of inflation, I guess in many ways a combination of supply and demand when it comes to the wheat and so forth, since they know they can get it from America right next door. And at the same time, I think it's just safety. They're next to America, and they don't have to worry about Russia or anybody like that. So, that's where we stand. I guess that's it. We're done. We are done the currencies, unless someone wants to see one. We will jump over to the metals complex. Excuse me. Let's close this out. And let's see. Who's ringing there? Let's see who's ringing. Swedesboro, New Jersey. All right. So, from there, could it be? Where's my phone at? Maybe someone's trying to call me, and I'm not realizing it. Let's double check. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Let's just double check to make sure I don't have any phone calls on the cell phone. No, I don't see anything. It's all cool. All right. So now, let's jump over to. There's gold. You can see that acting strong, just about unchanged for the day, and the weekly looking very firm here for a Thursday. And over on J4X, we showed that before. There it is, same situation, and it's trying to get back into the full buy with the green line above the dash line. Now let's take a look at silver. Silver kind of hesitant, a little down, nothing major, just 4 or 5 cents. And let's take a look at it over on Chicago Quant. And there it is right there. You can see it's just flirting with the daily sell. It's got a volatility signal trying to kick up, and we're in a second week in the weekly buy. So it is not putting any real pressure. Oh, wow. All right, so there's silver. We'll see how that plays out by tomorrow, to close of Friday. But they're looking pretty firm, and you can see same things going on in copper right there. Let's put copper up on J4X also. Oh, let's just quickly look at weekly silver too. Yeah, see that's marching along. It's at the highs. You see it's kind of flirting with the highs, but overall, there's a lot of strength in there. Let's take a look at copper. There's copper. The copper is showing a couple of weeks now in a buy. Especially back in here somewhere, went into the buy. We went into the daily buy ourselves, through that, just one day in a sell, and then back into the buy again. So what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's see. So 15 out of the last 16 days, it's been in a buy. And now we got the weekly joining in, saying, hey, maybe things will be pretty good. So, I would imagine any back and fill would be well worth chasing after. I mean, that's the way I look at it. All right, now from there, let's put the daily up there too. I bet it's a green. Yeah, see a sea of green. You see that? Over the last, there is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is that 6? That's 2, that's 5, and then there's 3, that's 8, and then let's get, what did I say, 15, right? So 7 more, 2, 4, 6, 7. So from here, we've been in a daily buy. And you can see it there. Lots of strength, and it's been interesting. Now it's starting to get safe to be naked long that stuff. And that's the best thing of all. Is that when you get both of them to join in, it's a much safer trade. And that's the whole idea. If you're trading hard delta or naked long, naked short, you want to be trading, with both in the buy, the daily and the weekly. If you're trading on just one of the signals, then you want to be trading binary options or options. This way you don't get stopped out. All right. From there, okay. Let's see, where else can we go from there? What was that? That's it. Let's get rid of that. There we are. Let's get rid of that. There we are. And so from there, let's see, what else can we say about any of this? Let's take a look at platinum. I don't think we looked at platinum yesterday, which we normally do, but it's in a weekly buy for 3 weeks. and it doesn't look like it's giving up. And look, it's going to the literally $968 area. Went into the weekly buy, in the 870 area. So it's gone up $100 now, platinum. Now I don't expect until we get full adult decision makers in Washington D.C. I see the platinum to be basically discounted against the gold. But once we get that, I wouldn't be surprised to see platinum firm up. What you say there, Robin, that they took you off? They didn't let it come up, the message. All right. Now, from there, let's jump over to... Let's see, what's that? That is platinum. So we've seen platinum, copper, silver, and gold. So now let's jump over to... let's see. Let's jump over to the energies. And there's the crude oil. Still holding up very well at the top end of its range. And let's take a look at it over here on the Brent. There's Brent. Brent's doing the same thing for the last couple of days, showing some strength. Trading at the 98 area. I said never mind. I took it out. Okay. Brent heading for the century mark. Crude orbiting around the $90 area. Now we're at the high end of that range, or let's say the bottom end of the range. We're at the high end of it. Let's see if it lifts beyond that and gets going again. I would imagine there's going to be pressure on oil. All of them are disappearing now. Oh, you're removing them. Are you removing them, or are they removing them? So they're saying that oil's going up because of a fear of inflation. I'm sorry, recession, not inflation. So producer price index 9.8 in July annually. That's awful high. They're saying that the administration, the kids in charge in D.C., are definitely not giving anybody any warm and fuzzy comfort about the idea that maybe they understand all the issues to the market. But the market's lifting up. We are seeing strength in this market. It's not going away. It's lifting and holding very nicely. Now, you can check this out. Here is the... let me just load this one in again. What's that all about? So we open that. Unrecognizable file format. What do you mean unrecognizable file format? File. Close. File. Open. I'm confused altogether about that. I think I'm going to close this and restart it. Something seems really wacko about it. Now let's see what we can got going on there. Open that up. We'll let it digest. But that is what we're seeing here. We can use the J4X. What you can see here is that Brent is holding up pretty nicely just underneath the 100 mark. Now let's go over to natural gas in the United States. You can see natural gas is trying to lift up again also. We're seeing that strength. And I think at the same time, when we look at natural gas, okay, there it goes. It's loading it up. It's doing the data storage thing. Okay. And let's see if we can get that up there. Nat gas. We'll show you where we are with it. There it is. There's natural gas. You can see it's acting very firm in there. You see the strength in it. And you can see we are through the weekly, for a second week. So just like in J4X, the thing is finding ways to go up in value. And then let's go over to Let's see. There's West Texas right there. You see West Texas been firm for a couple days, just like we just showed you. There is West Texas right there. You know, that strength in it, and this morning also the back month lifting up also. I'd like to see them get into a weekly buy. That would be nice. Then from there, the real magical thing is taking a look at oil in Europe. I would love it to be underneath 27, or at least a low 27s. That would be nice. Right there. That's where we were yesterday in the 70s. But at least it's not in the 28s, and that's a good thing, you know. Unfortunately, the nat gas in Europe is trading almost at when you divide, we're trading at $8, so 4 times 8 is 32, and it's trading at 28 roughly. So you're looking at something like 3.5 times in value, 3 times in value, almost 3.5 times in value. That's really, really tough situation. I saw a crazy headline this morning. It's not too crazy, actually. It's kind of factual in the sense that they figure that a lot of people are going to be freezing this winter, and energy bills are going to be very expensive. It's going to be very tough. So we're in that situation now where they have not been able to really straighten things out. And I'd heard that they turned on some oil through the Ukraine, so I assumed that was going to be helping the oil market. But since they've done it, oil has basically moved up $4 or $5, which is kind of odd, But again, that's the range. We expect to see it vacillate above the 90 and below the 90, but kind of hang out around the 90s and then find a way to drive itself back up to the 105 or something like that. And you can see Brent has already made almost a $10 move. Brent is trading at almost 99. We saw Brent no more than 4 days ago at 89. So there's a lot of pressure in this energy market. And then there was that strange event that occurred in Ukraine with the Air Force base in the Crimea that the Russians were using. It, somehow or another, it got crushed, exploded. 9 planes were destroyed, and next thing you know is, Zelensky came out with some statement about he thinks that they're going to take the Crimea back too. I don't know. We're not really watching it that much anymore. We're just giving them weapons, and so that's kind of making things even more quieter. In other words, we don't, once they get into I guess you could say they get into the track of getting the weapons they need, then what happens is that in America, people start looking at some other subject, The news media is so goofy like that. Now you can see here, we can slip over to the stock indices now. Let's try this. Let's see, there's the NQs, there's the S&P 500, there's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So they're all filled in now. All right, so now let's see if we can go to what we wanted before, and that was the right there. See, it's still doing that. That's odd. What error? Close. Let's see. Let's open this one up. Maybe I saved it wrong. I'd like to see an intraday. Let's see. We'll just stick it up on intraday on. There must be an intraday we can look at. I want to see the intraday stocks, and we're not getting them at the moment. Let's see if we can find one here. There's a gold in a 15-minute. Let's fix that one to that. So we'll. Hey, it's got Bollinger Bands on it too. That could be fun. So let's take a look at the S&Ps that way. And then let's go like this. Oh, okay, there it is. ES. Oh, wait a minute. That is... Oh, I see. We were doing two different things with that, weren't we? So we'll say okay. All right, let's do this. Let's just remove that altogether. Let's see. Remove selected invest format. There we are. Now, let's go into there. Am I blowing that up? Let me. That's a 15-minute. Let me just double check here. Hey, that's fine. Now let's put the ES in there. Because they are climbing, these stock indices. Oh, I've had it with this. Let's see. What is up with my intraday all of a sudden? All I want to do is see a intraday chart. So I'm just going to create one. New chart. And there, and we'll go like that. There we go. That's better. Now let's change the settings to just 1 day. And let's see, let's change the period to there we go. It'll fill in. And there it is right there. That's the S&Ps. Now let's put it in as a bar chart so it makes a little bit more sense to everybody. Open, high, low, close. There it is. And at the same time, let's put an indicator in there. Let's get something like the gas. Insert, study, and let's get the gas line 3 in there. Super. We're going to go with the gas line Super 3.5. Right there. Right where? There it is. There we go. Now I feel better. Yeah, now there's a perfect example of what's going on now. You see the strength here. You know, where the product. See, I think I have to change the background to like gray. There we are. The product's up over 30 points. We're having another strong, firm day in the stock indices again. The S&P 500 is up 30 points. I think the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Just put the Dow in there. I think the Dow is like up 200 points. There it comes. There we are. Yeah, it's up 250 points. So they're lifting up the stock indices, and like I said, we're seeing in the currencies the flight to safety seems to be dissipating, and that's probably what we're going to call this this webinar in particular. It's like the flight to safety to the dollar backing off or something like that, because that's what's really going on at the moment. It looks at very clearly, and that would be very nice, you know, if that's how it all played out. You know, lack of, you know, it would be nice to see the dollar back off a little bit. It's so strong, and it's very distorting. You know, it really is a distortion when it's so strong like that. I mean, unfortunately, we're the only game in town. Can you imagine if the Chinese actually had a currency? If they had a currency, maybe they could trade it, you know, on a world stage, and everybody'd be like, "This is cool." But they don't even have a currency. Why don't they? If they would get a currency, then I could take them serious about. You know, trying to compete with the dollar. But right now, they're not, they don't even have a currency. It's a fixed thing that, you know, it's whatever they charge, that's what it is, you know, type of thing. There's George. Hey, George, not helping the metals much. You know, I think it is in a lot of ways, though. Look at this. Let's see, where's it at? Right here. Look at gold. We got gold playing with the weekly buy. It's been in a nice move for 15 days. So we are seeing it's there. It's just that, George, it just doesn't want to explode. That's the problem. And, that's why we always say, if you're going to be naked this stuff, long or short, you want the weekly and the daily working together for the trades. And so I think the flight to safety is over. I really do. The dollar flight to safety. Let's see. Dollar flight to safety is over. There we are, like that. And you're seeing it in silver. Look at silver here. The metals are doing some good stuff. It's just that they've taken so much out of them. I mean, silver. Look at silver here. Let's just put silver back up on J4X because it's a very good visual of what damage they took. There it is right there. And look at it. No more than, that's on a weekly chart, so no more than 20 weeks back, the thing's trading at $26. They've driven it down to $18. That's a big drop. I was saying that a little while ago on the webinar. That's a big, big, big drop. That really is. That's a punch in the face. And gold was like $150 down. And that's why we were very bullish the pairs trade. Buy the silver, sell the gold. And it has started to come back. But it's not a pretty picture. I mean, metal, think about it. We have 40-year highs in inflation, and they found a way to make new one-year lows in gold and silver. I mean, honestly, look at that. When's the last time we saw? Let's make that the whole page on J4X. The last time it was down in this area was 2000, almost in 2019. It's a 2-year low. I mean, it's almost a 3-year low. What was that? That was in, what part of the year was that? That was, that's January right there. So, of 2019. Is that right? And the end result is they've really, they really beat these metals up in such a vicious way. And then when we look at gold's the same way. And that's what we're hoping for, is to get more responsibility in Washington, D.C. I mean, that was interesting. That's March of 2020. It's down challenging those lows. When we have 40-year highs in inflation, gold should have at least stayed up around 1920. 1950, 2000, maybe played the 21 area again. That type of thing. I mean, we are looking at some of the strangest events, and it's all because it's manipulation from the party in power. They'll do anything. It doesn't matter how wrong or right it is. They'll just do it just to make it look better, So, it's a real disappointment there. That's the way I feel about it. So, all right, traders. What we got? About 6-7 minutes. So, if there are no questions, we're going to start to get out of here. But this is a conundrum. There is no doubt about it. 40-year highs and gold at the low ends of its 2-year range. That really is an abuse of power. And you could wake up the Chinese and say, you know what? Float your currency. Make your currency a floating currency, no matter what it is. So if it turns out to be 21 to the dollar, that's what it is. But to pretend that a fixed currency that only trades 2% of the world's volume every day, and they want to be a more predominant currency player, they've got to do the honest thing. They can't, it's one thing for the Democrats to do what they're doing here in the States, but, it won't work. It won't work for China. All right. Where else are we? I guess that's about it. I'm going to get out of here. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you all on Friday. Tomorrow is TGIF. Thank goodness it is Friday. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. You know, traders, be safe, be smart out there, and keep your technicals and everything else. Stay with your quants, and don't break strategy. Stay with this good strategy every time. Ta-ta for now.